Huh. The only thing I know about Dragon's Quest is that the protagonist was in Smash, and he's hard to play as. But I think I did pretty good, all things considered. What's up, wise ones? Thank you for checking out my review of Dragon's Quest III HD 2D Remake. This video is sponsored by Square Enix, who so generously provided the review key for this review. And if you like this video, please consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up, as it helps the YouTube algorithm recognize our video. As I mentioned in my Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven review, I've only played a very few Square Enix games, but I do enjoy a good JRPG, and this one is a classic. So I've been told. With each passing year, the preservation of old video games is becoming more difficult. It's not easy just to plug in and play some of your old classics. Just the other day, I was feeling nostalgic about playing LEGO Racers, but being able to play that game now and revisit it is a challenge for sure. Sure, I could just emulate it, but the feeling's just not the same. That's why I appreciate companies that are remaking some of their old games for new audiences so they can enjoy them, and we can re-enjoy them. Like Persona 3 Reload, for example. I am so happy that I got to experience that game again with a fresh coat of paint and some new mechanics. And I'm also happy that other people get to experience the game without having to emulate it or go out of their way to find an old PS2 with a really hard to find copy of Persona 3 or Persona 3 FES. Plus, the mechanics of that game, you couldn't even control your party members. Man, that was torture. There are some updates to Persona 3 Reload that I just do not agree with, but that's a video for another time. Anyways, let's get back on track. Dragon's Quest III was originally released back in 1988.
Was that the bite of 87?
No. 1 year off from being able to make that joke. Just no. As I was saying, the game originally came out in Japan in 1988 for the Famicom, and then later released for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1992. So this game is very OG. The style they went for is a beautiful blend of 3D environments and 2D character sprites. Like hell, it looks great! Why can't Pokemon do something like this? And with how the environmental lighting reflects off the sprites, it just looks incredible. I don't know how else to describe it. It just looks really, really incredible. And the symphonic music that they are going for really complements this ambiance that they've created. Be you in a field, in a dungeon fighting monsters, or simply just wandering the streets at night looking for the inn. All the music just sounds very cozy. It's weird to say, but it's warm and cozy. And the cherry on top of the sound design is that there's 8-bit sound effects scattered about, like when you go through a door or when you choose to attack. It really grounds the game with this retro feeling, and it also provides a nice accent for the 2D sprites in a 3D world. Now there is some voice acting in this game, some being a very big keyword here. While in combat, the characters do have their quips of spells that they cast, and of course the grunts of pain whenever they take damage. And then there's dialogue that's connected to the story. That's where the weirdness comes in for me. It really feels selective with what NPCs get voices and what doesn't, and when they get them. Like one moment they'll be speaking, and then the next it's just standard dialogue boxes.
If you find yourself feeling lonely on the road, or simply want some muscle you can count on in a pinch, let me know. I'll find the perfect companions to suit your needs. But gosh, you really are all grown up now, aren't you? May take me a while to get used to. At any rate.
Now let's talk about the story. It's a fairly basic story. You are the son, or daughter, of a great hero who challenged an archfiend who threatened the world. And he failed in his quest. So now it is up to you to follow in your father's footsteps and finish that quest he started. You can build a party suited to your needs with different classes like warrior, mage, or clown?
He's just standing there, menacingly!
You can even choose how they look to some degree, and then set forth on adventure. Now, unfortunately, your party members are not characters. They don't have background stories, they don't have motivations, and you can't have meaningful conversations with them. They might as well be zombies. That being said, you can make your own fun with your party members. Like here, I've made one of my D&D characters, to the best of my ability, and I made my Bei Mei Ling from Toho project. Don't judge me. Or do, in the comments section below. What I always enjoy in a game is when the game gives you the freedom to be a wise ass and suffer the consequences for it. Now, early in the game, my mother tells me to go see the king to receive his blessing for my adventure. But me being the little shit I am, I was like, nah. Now, usually games would railroad you back on track by blocking your path, or, that's not the answer I'm expecting. I'll ask again. And they'll just push you back into the direction of how it wants you to go. But I was surprised this time by my mom, being fed up with me being defiant, and she started to cry. And me being the little psychopath I am, just went off on my adventure. Only to die to a butterfly moments later. When it comes to combat, it's kinda straightforward. You get a random encounter while traversing the overworld. You have weapons and spells. So just attack your way to victory and level up. Each character is assigned a personality trait that affects what stats get priority when you level up. So if you want to be efficient, it's best to have your strength characters have a strong personality, while the thieves should get personalities that benefit dexterity and stamina. My only complaint is that the turn-based combat feels a little bit slow, and there are times where I'm button mashing through the combat screen just trying to get through it faster to no avail. There's also nothing special about the combat either. There's no weaknesses to exploit for bonus damage, there's no super moves, there's None of that fancy stuff. And there also seems to be an inside joke around the game where the item you use to fast travel, in the original I guess you couldn't use it while indoors, but now you can because magic. Overall, the presentation that this game gives is really beautiful. It's retro, but at the same time, a new game. If you're looking for a game with a really retro feel to it, or if you're looking to get into the Dragonquest series, then this game is a good one to get in on it. But if you're looking for a game with a deep narrative and a complicated story with equally complicated characters, I don't think you're gonna find that here. But if you want to experience a classic JRPG modernized for today's audiences, then this game is worth checking out.